So in this lesson, I'm going to be talking about the things that you can do when you have a sore throat. So of course, having a sore throat is incredibly inevitable. So you always want to know what works for you and what's going to make you feel better in those moments. There are different reasons that you might have a sore throat, which include allergies. I personally have seasonal allergies, so I deal with this quite a bit. You might have a cold or a flu. You might just have general fatigue from screaming or yelling the day before, from socializing. You might have your period. So for those of you who have periods, I'm here to validate you. If you ever felt like when you were on your period, your throat felt different, your voice sounded different, if it felt really tired, if it sounded more hoarse, if you felt like it took more energy to sing, that is happening and you're not crazy. When you're on your period, you have a lot of inflammation going on in your body. You're experiencing a lot of that. I personally do as well, so it's more difficult to sing. So that is another reason that you might have a sore throat. But when taking care of a sore throat, it's really about resting as much as possible, getting rid of that inflammation as best you can, and lubricating your throat. So let's talk about vocal rest again. Again, this is just what it looks like for you. So if you can't rest for 24 hours and just not talk and just be watching movies, that's okay. That's not realistic for most people. So letting people know at your place of work that you do need to talk less and that you do need to talk a little bit quieter, letting everybody know that that is going to be a change for that day, they're going to be much more receptive and much more gracious about that for you. So you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable around people who know what you're going through. So again, talk in a placement that's a little bit higher where you feel a lot less resistance, and massage your throat as much as you can. But a lot of the things that I said in the previous lesson about vocal rest, you should be doing those things. So let's talk about lozenges again. In the previous video, I talked about lozenges. I shared 3 different ones that I really love to take on gigs with me. I said that I didn't subscribe to taking menthol, but this one is actually really good. If you're experiencing a cold and you're coughing a ton, sometimes that menthol can really help suppress that cough. The worst thing to do, one of the worst things for your voice is actually coughing because it's your vocal cords just banging together. So in order to avoid that, sometimes menthol really helps. And at that point, if you're sick, you just really want to get rid of that cough. This specific one is Throat Coat again, which everybody knows about this brand. I have the tea here, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. But they also make lozenges, and this one is sweet orange fennel, which is just super, super yummy. I love this one, but that's a lozenge that you can take. In terms of tea, like hot water mixed with, things that help your voice, a few different things. We have Throat Coat, like I said before. Even on the package, it says it's especially good with honey. That is not just for taste. Honey is really, really great for a sore throat. It helps soothe and lubricate your throat, but it also helps take that sort of scratchiness away. So this is awesome with honey. This one is sort of more Eastern medicine that I know a lot of my singer friends don't really know about this one, but this is balloon flower extract. So it's got that sort of syrupy consistency. It's a little bit bitter and tastes a little sweet, but I like to add honey to it just so that it tastes a little bit better. But you can just take a spoonful of this if you want to, or you can put this in hot water, mix it with a little bit of honey and sip on it. I really like this one because it feels like it's actually healing my throat, not just lubricating it. But if I have that itchiness that's sort of making me feel like I'm choking or it's making me cough, this one actually works almost instantly. So I would say try balloon flower for sure. I love this one. Again, we have the bromelain, and we have the sort of icy hot patches again as well. You want to steam as much as possible, just because it really does help calm the throat, like I was saying before. So that'll help for your sore throat. But also using straw phonation exercises, like the one that I showed in my previous lesson. But if you just want to do breathing exercises and or stay just in your lower range and just, this will help open up your throat as well. And then again, if you have a sore throat, it's really great to just cover your throat. I don't use a scarf because you don't want to choke yourself in your sleep. But one of these where it's just like a neck warmer, this is awesome to sleep in just because it'll help sort of relax the throat, because you will have a really tense throat from a sore throat when you're trying to talk through inflammation, but also just because you're coughing and banging your vocal cords together. And lastly, something that helps with that inflammation, because that's really important, my ENT, Dr. Jonathan Aviv, he specifically works with singers. So, and he also specializes in acid reflux. And I'll talk a little bit more about acid reflux as well, because I have chronic acid reflux, and that, it's why I had my vocal injury. But there are two different kinds of smoothies that you can make to help with the swelling in your throat. It fights inflammation. So the first one is ice, flaxseed, almond milk or oat milk, orange, and banana. The next one is just flaxseed, ice, watermelon, and cucumber. So I do want to mention that when you are making these teas, don't put lemon in it. I know a lot of singers that say, oh, I like to put honey and lemon in my hot water and just sip it. It's actually a vocal myth. And I'm just gonna explain why this doesn't work. So as someone who has worked with my doctor, who is an ENT and specializes in acid reflux, but also someone who has a lot of acid reflux. When you have reflux, the acid is coming up from your stomach and then burning your esophagus, and it can go as far as actually burning your throat. That's what happens to me quite a bit. So there's acid that's burning your throat. If you have lemon and you put it in your tea, something really acidic, and you're swallowing it, it doesn't matter if it's coming from the bottom or if it's going down your throat, you're burning your throat. So try not to put lemon in it. That being said, putting orange in your smoothie is okay, because almond milk and oat milk cancel out the acidity of the orange. So I just wanted to mention that as well. So just to go over everything that we just talked about, if you have a sore throat, rest as much as you can. This is the time to really not talk if you can help it. Take some lozenges. Again, this is the one that I really, really love. Drink different teas. One that I didn't mention was actually honey, ginger, and turmeric, and cinnamon. You can put that into your teas, and that's really great for inflammation as well. But the ones that I mentioned, and also the smoothies that were anti-inflammatory. So there are a lot of different things that you can use for a sore throat. You have options. So if you feel like it's the end of the world because you have a sore throat before a performance, you can relax. You can use any of these tools, try them out, see what works for you, any combination of them, and you're gonna have a really good time. You're gonna have your voice. It's gonna be fine. And then the next lesson, we're gonna be talking about specifically vocal injury and what steps you need to take, what the symptoms are that you should be looking out for. But I'll be sharing a specific example from my own personal experience.